Always a good day to play with the green meanie. Let's do it. We'll get into this thing. Let's shoot it first though. Yeehaw, okay. Welcome back everybody, this is Eric here with Iraq Veteran 88. Today we're going to be taking a look at a really interesting little PCC. This is a TNW Firearms Survival Pistol, ASR. I want to thank our friends at Gun Zone Deals for providing this particular example for us to check out today. And you know, it's kind of weird. A lot of people don't really know about these guns, and they've been around for a pretty long time, right? They've been making these things a good little minute, and they do represent a very reasonably priced option in the PCC realm, especially right now with prices being absolutely bonkers on a lot of things right now. Supply and demand has just put a real pinch on things, and certain guns have just been really difficult to get, and I feel like these have kind of flown under the radar a little bit. And one would think, okay, well, with all this craziness going on, why would this gun fly under the radar? Okay, so I'll kind of discuss the reasoning, or at least my reasoning behind why this gun has flown under the radar, as well as kind of talk about some of the features. So it's interesting because this gun isn't really based on anything. It's its own proprietary, specifically engineered design. So everything about this gun, with the exception of obviously things like the grip and you know, the brace, or you know, the hanger that's on it or anything like that, from all of that forward, it is an entirely proprietary type of system. So that's one reason this gun loses a few points with people, because you can't really change out triggers or safeties. You can't change out, you know, different magazine releases and all different types of accessories. Pretty much what you see is what you get, okay? It is a modular system though, and it can be configured into a variety of different calibers. You can do 357 SIG in these, 40 Smith & Wesson. This one's set up for 9mm. It accepts Glock pattern magazines. Now, the rail system that's on this gun is pretty interesting. You do have rail sections that you can just screw on where they're needed, okay? But one thing that I feel like might have been a slight departure from what most of us would expect is the rail section actually protrudes so far forward that if you pull the muzzle cap off, it is threaded 1/2x28, and put a suppressor on, the suppressor can't even screw down all the way because the rail pokes out and prevents the suppressor from coming into full contact with the bearing surface here on the front of the barrel, okay? So that's definitely an issue that needs to be resolved, is that rail shortened so that people can actually suppress these things. It uses an Uzi style barrel nut. So if you were to back these screws out right here, and you can pop these little flanges forward on the rail and pull the rail system off underneath, it's just an Uzi style barrel nut system. You can literally just grab it with your hand, loosen it, and the barrel removes very quickly for cleaning. So that's definitely a plus on that they did borrow that design element from the Uzis and everything. And also from a standpoint of suppressing this thing, you could do one heck of an integral suppressed build if you wanted to do something like that with this gun. So it would lend itself well to an integral, and it lends itself really well to, say you wanted to shorten the barrel even more and move that thread back and just do away with the rail system, you could completely do that. Now TNW offers these guns in a variety of different finishes and in a variety of different configurations. You can obviously get it in a 16-inch rifle configuration as well. This is the smallest version of the pistol that they make. They opted for this to use a smooth, I'm not going to try to pull it off, but yeah, you can see there, they opted for a smooth, non-adjusting tube to go on there. And this is just an earlier style of SB brace. That's just a rubberized brace that's on there. We've got this one topped off with a SIG Romeo 5, holding up really good, and then I opted for the green finish. Let's shoot the gun a little bit. It is compatible with AR-15 grip sticks. This one's wearing just a small PDW style Chris grip, but you could obviously run whatever you want. Woo, it is cold out here today, boys and girls. Woo, okay, let's have a little fun. To lock the bolt to the rear, there is no last round bolt hold open. That's one tiny detriment to this particular survival pistol. I do think that a modern PCC should have a last round bolt hold open. So this one, to lock the bolt to the rear, you pull up into the rear and you lock it into the recess here. Much like a Kel-Tec Sub 2000, okay? We're just gonna go ahead and chamber her up. The safety is this button located right here above the trigger guard in front of the trigger. Push it to the left, it exposes the red. Red is dead. Push the red in, safety's on. Very simple trigger mechanism. We'll shoot the gun a little bit more, have some fun. We're running Agula 124 grain ball ammunition. Okay, I'm very pleased with that accuracy. So the accuracy is most certainly on par with any type of PCC that you would expect with a fixed barrel. So in the accuracy department, wow, very, very pleased with that. One thing I would like to note, just from an ergonomic standpoint and a manual of arms standpoint on this particular pistol, I do like the fact that when you have the pistol, you know, up in a firing position, you can quickly visually look over and see the chamber. So if you need to do a chamber check or something like that, it is very, very nice to have such a wide open ejection port. That does let those cases get out of there really well. So I think the beveling and the way they radiused everything on the ejection port is super, super cool because that certainly allows you, you know, good, generous ejection of the cases. Okay? It is a blowback, running quite well. She is dirty. It does run quite dirty, I notice, you know, so you probably want to clean these things a little more often. You know, blowbacks tend to be pretty, pretty gassy. All right, let's have some fun. Very nice, very nice. All right, I'm gonna group it over here on one of these plates on the right. I shot a couple of groups there on those bolts, and I mean, you're talking a couple of inches at, you know, 30 yards, definitely not bad. For a defensive unit, more than adequate. You know, we've gotten this thing pretty warm. Definitely not too uncomfortable to hold with an ungloved hand, which as cold as it is out here today, I probably should be wearing gloves, but I guess what I meant to say, it's not overly hot, okay? And I'm gonna attribute that partially to the barrel nut design as well, because that barrel nut is acting as a heat sink and it's drawing a lot of that heat because it is alloy. It's drawing that heat away from the chamber. And then with this rail system and the design of the upper, it is pulling a lot of that heat away. And it is not bad at all. I expected this gun to get hotter than what it is. So definitely interesting on that. Okay, running good. All right, let's take out some sodas, but first I'll group it here. I'm gonna shoot a couple of 5-shot groups, take my time here. And this is relatively unscientific. We're just trying to have some fun here. Let's do it. Yes, sir. Excellent accuracy, excellent. The trigger, some people may not be in love with this trigger. It is a little bit stagey. It's got a little bit of a spongy break, but it does break nice and clean and discernible. And the bow on the trigger is very, very small. And one other thing to consider is the trigger, or the trigger well, or I guess the trigger well. What am I trying to say? Trigger guard, all right. One other thing to mention is that The trigger guard assembly and everything in here, you don't really have a ton of space in there. So for some of you that have got larger fingers, or if you're running a gloved finger, if you've larger mitts and you're wearing gloves, you don't have a ton of room in there to get a gloved finger in there. So that would be about my only complaint in terms of this arrangement. But the trigger's not bad. All right, shoot another group here. Running really nice. Completely adequate. Absolutely adequate. All right, we'll take out a few sodas. I'm gonna try to go fast, okay? Y'all ready? All right. I do wish that we had a last round bolt hold open. To be fair, some of the greatest sub guns of our time don't have a last round bolt hold open. Looking at you, MP5. So kind of treat it like an MP5. You know, you got to lock that bolt up and to the right. Not unlike, you know, Kel-Tec Sub 2000, MP5. I mean, there's plenty of guns that don't have a last round bolt hold open on it. I'm very impressed with it so far. Running pretty good. All right. Yes, sir. Digging that. Fixed barrel, good accuracy, lightweight, easy to stow. Throw you a Sylvan Arms or a Law folder on this bad boy. Fold that brace over, stick this thing in a backpack. I could totally see where it merits the term survival pistol. Certainly does that. There's a few minor refinements I'd like to see. One thing I'll make mention of is that the disassembly procedures on this gun are not fun. This is not a very easy gun to take apart for maintenance and cleaning. Now, the Uzi style barrel nut is not bad for being able to pull the barrel and swab it out real quick, but in terms of getting to the guts, it does lose a few points for it not being very easy to field strip and clean. It's a relatively complicated gun to take apart with a lot of odd parts that are definitely not standard. But if you can look past that and see it for what it is in its totality, it's certainly a very interesting option. And it's worth noting that the prices on these things have remained relatively the same as what they were before all the silliness started with the buying and stuff, and all of the supply and demand making everything go crazy. You can still pick these things up for a very reasonable price point. So I think they win in that regard. So this might be an option worth looking at for some of you that are looking into this type of thing. All right, one more mag. You guys have a great day. I'm gonna shoot a little bit more because why the heck not? 9mm like currency, so we're gonna send some gold downrange. Woo, all right, let's have some fun. Yes, sir. Definitely want to take a moment to thank all of our Patreon supporters. You guys are amazing for supporting what we do. Thank you for seeing value in what we do. Want to take a moment to thank all of you who purchase man cans, shirts over on Ballistic Ink. You guys mean the world to us. Thank you so much for supporting what we do. We hope you enjoyed today's video. Many more on the way. I'm going to warm my cold digits up. You guys have a good one. We'll see you later.